Yeah, Hare Krishna devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. All goes Prabhupada. So, this is a weekly session of Bhagavad Gita. So many of our devotees will share every week. Different devotee will take a class. Today, I was given this service by Harinam Kirtan Prabhu. Today, I will share. So, we'll start with a brief prayer and we'll continue. A wonderful verse for today. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Nitinamini Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pecharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschat Desatarini Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktamunda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Okay, it's nice to read Bhagavad Gita always. So let me share my screen again and go over read that screen with the verse. Okay, got it. So we'll go to the verse and yeah, this is a nice verse. Bhagavad Gita 4th chapter, text number 34 is one of the such an important verse in our devotion service because it talks about the importance of spiritual master, the importance of taking shelter of Guru, and then it also explains how we can grow in bhakti also. Everything in one package nicely. So we'll go through it. Tadvidhi pranipatena hariprasnena sevaya upadekshanti te gnanam gnaninas tattvadarshinaha. So it's a nice verse. So let's read the synonyms. That knowledge of different sacrifices with the try to understand pranipatena by approaching a spiritual master, pariprasnena by submissive inquiries, sevaya by the rendering of service, upadekshanti they will initiate, te you, jnanam into knowledge, jnaninaha the self-realized, tattva of the truth, darshinaha seers. So now translation purport by Sri Prabhupada. Translation. Just try to learn the truth. Just try to learn the truth. How? By approaching a spiritual master. And what do we do after approaching a spiritual master? Inquire from him submissively and render service unto him. The self-realized souls can impart knowledge unto you because they have seen the truth. Because they know the truth already, they can give knowledge to us. Okay, I don't know if anybody is in a position to read on the call. You can read the purport. If not, I can also read also. Okay, otherwise I can read the purport. Purport is Sri Prabhupada. Sri Prabhupada ki jai. The path of spiritual realization is undoubtedly difficult. The Lord therefore advises us to approach a bona fide spiritual master in the line of disciple succession from the Lord himself. Okay, we'll read the purport one time and then we can go through some nice points here. No one can be bona fide spiritual master without following this principle of disciple succession. The Lord is the original spiritual master, and a person in the disciple succession can convey the message of the Lord as it is to his disciple. No one can be spiritually realized by manufacturing his own process, as is the fashion of the foolish pretenders. The Bhagavatam says, Dharmam tu sakshat bhagavad pranitam. The path of religion is directly enunciated by the Lord. Therefore, mental speculation or dry arguments cannot help lead one to the right path. Nor by independent study of books of knowledge can one progress in spiritual life. One has to approach a bona fide spiritual master to receive the knowledge. Such a spiritual master should be accepted in full surrender And one should serve the spiritual master like a menial servant without false prestige. Satisfaction of the self-realized spiritual master is the secret of advancement in spiritual life. Inquiries and submission constitute the proper combination for spiritual understanding. Unless there is submission and service, inquiries from the learned spiritual master will not be effective. One must be able to pass the test of the spiritual master. And when he sees the genuine desire of the disciple, he automatically blesses the disciple with genuine spiritual understanding. In this verse, both blind following and absurd inquiries are condemned. Not only should one hear submissively from the spiritual master, but one must also get a clear understanding from him in submission and service and inquiries. A bona fide spiritual master is by nature very kind toward the disciple. Therefore, when the student is submissive and is always ready to render service, the reciprocation of knowledge and inquiries becomes perfect. Wow, such a packed purport with nice points. So, the verse is saying, just try to learn the truth by approaching spiritual master, inquire from him submissively, and render service unto him. The self-realized soul can impart knowledge unto you because they have seen the truth. We'll discuss this a little bit now. So, basically, Bhagavad Gita, I'll discuss the context of this particular verse first, and then we can go in details. So, context is the 4th chapter that's titled Transcendental Knowledge. If you remember, in the end of the 3rd chapter, Krishna introduced the topic of lust, where he described how lust is the enemy. Arjuna asks, I don't know, I don't want to do something, but I do it. As if like by force, somebody is making me do it like that. Why does that happen like that? Then Krishna describes that is only because of lust that happens. So now, and he gives the explanation about lust. He says how lust is there in different senses, and also it's in the mind, and also it's in intelligence like that. And then Krishna describes toward the end of the 3rd chapter that lust can be controlled by 2 things, he says, very broadly. One is by regulating our senses. That's one thing he describes. And second thing he describes is by steady intelligence through knowledge. That also helps to control the lust, he says. Now, after describing that in the last verse of 3rd chapter, 43rd verse, he continues to this chapter now, where in this chapter, we are hearing the transcendental knowledge. So he's giving the transcendental knowledge now in this chapter. So that way, Arjuna is clear how to overcome the lust by the transcendental knowledge like that. That is the context of this particular Bhagavad Gita chapter now. So now, having understood the context of the whole chapter, so we can go to some more detail within the chapter itself. What is happening in the chapter like that, we'll consider. So what is happening in the chapter is that in the beginning, he starts to describe how by practicing karma yoga, then we get gradual purification like that he describes, number 1. Number 2, by cultivating knowledge or jnana, then we'll get further purified, he describes. And then just the section before this verse, last week you probably heard this from another devotee, how he talks about how different types of sacrifices are recommended in scriptures for progressing in knowledge like that. You might have also heard that sacrifice is not just physical activity. The sacrifice can be even developing character, developing qualities to please Krishna. That also helps us in developing knowledge. For example, one important quality that is touched in today's verse also is the humility. Humility is a quality that is required for developing any kind of knowledge. Why is humility required? Because if I think I know everything, then why do I listen to somebody? Why do I want to hear from somebody? Why do you want to clarify with somebody? I don't want to clarify. Then I will not get any knowledge. I'll stay wherever I am. Whereas if I'm humble to find out from others, This is applicable for material knowledge and spiritual knowledge also. Let us say I'm trying to go from here to DC. I don't know what is the right route to take. Then if I'm humble enough, I'll ask somebody, am I going the right direction? Can you tell me? Then they will help me. But if I'm not humble, I'm proud, I'll think, I have 2 hours to go to DC. I'll figure it out. I know generally, directionally, I need to go this direction. Let me try this way. I'm intelligent. I'm sharp. Let me find out like that. That's why proud person will say, think. But if he has some humility, he can ask help from others to get what he wants to do like that in life also, materially. Spiritually, it's even more important because in spiritual life, unless somebody is really interested, why will somebody share something with somebody? Only if you're interested and if you're ready to listen, then somebody wants to share. If I already think I know everything, then how will I hear from someone? Generally, commonly, the example is given that water flows from higher plane to lower plane. That we know from science, basic science in school. Similarly, somebody who has something only can give to somebody else. If I have some food, I can give charity of food to somebody. If I have $1, I can give anything less than $1 to somebody. I cannot give $10 if I have only $1. Remember? But if I have $10, I can give $10 to 10 people, $1 each, for example. But I can only give whatever I have, right? So somebody is giving is an upper hand, somebody receiving is in lower hand. Similarly, we cannot receive, somebody is trying to pour water in our hand. When they're trying to pour water like this, I cannot keep my hands here and say, give me water. I need to be down and receive the water like that. So similarly, when we're taking spiritual knowledge, we need to understand. They know at least a little bit more than me. So I need to hear. I need to understand like that. Then that's the way to receive knowledge like that. That is a point about humility being described. So this was we heard how, remember previous section is all about acquiring knowledge. This section is talking about, Krishna is saying that knowledge that we talked about, tat viddhi pranipatena, that knowledge which you talked about can be understood. How? By this process. What is the process? By approaching a bona fide guru, bona fide spiritual master, number one, he's saying. And then somebody might ask, who is a bona fide guru? How do you know? Everybody will say, I am the great. Come to me only. Don't go to another one. Like that, they'll say. Everybody will say. So there are many ways to find out who is a bona fide guru. One way to find out who is a bona fide guru is, does he himself have a guru? And does his guru have a guru? Does his guru have a guru? Like that, if you need to check that they're coming from a bona fide, one of the 4 bona fide Vaishnava Sampradayas. What are those? Many of you might know already, but for some of you, it may be new. So I'll explain them briefly. Basically, 4 Vaishnava Sampradayas are coming directly from God himself. One Sampradaya is called Brahma Sampradaya. That means Supreme Lord gave the knowledge to Brahma. Brahma gave to Narada Muni. Narada Muni gave to Vasudev. Vasudev gave to his student Sukadeva Goswami. Sukadeva Goswami gave to Parikshit Maharaj. Like that, knowledge is coming directly from God through Brahma. That's what is called Brahma Sampradaya. First one. Second Sampradaya is Supreme Lord gave the knowledge to Lakshmi Devi, Mother Lakshmi Devi. So she is giving knowledge to another Acharya like that is coming. One of the prominent Acharya we know in the Sampradaya is Ramanujacharya Sampradaya. That's the second bona fide Sampradaya. Actually, iskcon belongs to the first Sampradaya, Brahma Sampradaya. We are called Brahma Madhvacharya, also in the same line. Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya, like that. Because Brahma came in this line and Madhvacharya came, and Gaudiya means Lord Chaitanya came in this line like that. So we talked about Brahma Sampradaya, we talked about Sri Sampradaya, or Lakshmi Sampradaya, coming from Lakshmi Devi. Third one is 4 Kumaras. These 4 Kumaras are children of Lord Brahma, but they got the knowledge directly from Supreme Lord, Sankarshan. Sankarshan gave them Vedic knowledge, transcendental knowledge to them. and they in turn gave it to their disciples like that. That is the third Sampradaya, Kumara Sampradaya. So Brahma Sampradaya, Sri Sampradaya, Kumara Sampradaya. Next, fourth one is Rudra Sampradaya, coming from Lord Shiva himself. Lord Shiva also received the knowledge from Supreme Lord, and he shared with his disciple like that is going on. So he is also started an authorized Sampradaya. So that is a Rudra Sampradaya. So we need to check the knowledge we are getting from, is it from one of these Sampradayas? The Guru that we are approaching, is he from one of these Sampradayas? Like that, if you check, then that knowledge is coming directly from Supreme Lord, even though it's changing so many hands, but still it's not distorted because the principle will remain same. Details may be different. They might adopt some, the way they're explaining it to make it relevant for the particular audience in this particular age, but it's always the same knowledge that they're getting from Supreme Lord himself like that. That is one principle. So who is the Guru will it explain? So that means Guru, is he coming from one of these four sampradayas? Otherwise, we don't want to hear from them. Number one. Number two, how does the Guru's activities look like? Does he follow what he teaches? Or at least he's striving to follow what he's teaching? And does his behavior and teachings match what is given in scriptures? That is the other check we can make. But for knowing that, we need to know something about scriptures first. Otherwise, how can we know? Otherwise, we think everybody is nice, like that. So that's the second check. First check we talked about is, he is coming in the bona fide disciplic succession, it's called. Bona fide sampradaya or bona fide parampara. These are the different terms used for the same thing. So now that is the first thing. Second thing we talked about is what he's teaching and what he's practicing in his life, what is aspiring in his life. Are they matching with scriptures or not? That is the second thing we see. Third thing is, are his followers, how are the followers? Are they gradually growing in their transcendental knowledge? Are they going spiritually? Are they understanding about Supreme Lord more and more? Are they developing attachment to Supreme Lord more and more? Are they developing detachment for sense gratification more and more? That is the other aspect you can check. If that is the case, definitely a spiritual master may have 1,000 disciples. We cannot expect all 1,000 disciples will be like spiritual master. But are they progressing from where they were 2 years ago to now in the right direction, increasing the attachment to Supreme Lord and increasing the detachment from sense gratification also? If you consider that, then we can understand we are going to the right person or not. That's one aspect. Krishna told, learn about this by approaching a bona fide spiritual master. First point. Now, second point Krishna is telling in this verse is, he's asking to pranipatena, by submitting to spiritual master. So, submitting to spiritual master, what does that mean? That means the humility, the discussion we had, that's what it means. That means we go before spiritual master with the mood that I don't know, I want to know from you. With that mood, we go before a spiritual master. That is the only way we can receive something from somebody like that. That is the other aspects, submissive mode. So now, then, actually these words can be described in different ways. I'm explaining in one direction first and we'll go to the other direction. So submissive means through humility. That means we bow down before them, we pay obeisances before them, and we go in the mood that I don't know, I want to know from you. Please be my guide, like that. So for example, common example given is, if I'm a patient suffering from some disease, I go to the doctor and think that I already know the diagnosis, I already know a cure remedy also. Then what does doctor can help? Doctor cannot help because I'm already in the mood. Let us say I self-diagnose myself, I have cancer, I have this, that, like that. The doctor cannot help me because I'm not ready to listen to doctor's diagnosis and doctor's remedy or cure, like that. So that's when we go to doctor, that's why we might have some different theories. What could be the problem potentially? But we listen to the doctor, what he thinks as authority is a real cure. Then we'll benefit really. Otherwise, we'll do whatever we want, we'll not get cured at all. So that means that also means we need to have faith before we go to the doctor, that this doctor can diagnose properly, this doctor can give me the right treatment so I can get well like that. So similarly, when we go to Guru, we need to go with some faith that he can help me like that. That is one aspect about the humility or submissiveness. Second aspect is inquisitiveness. Tadvidi pranipatena paripreshnena. That means inquire from the spiritual master is describing. So humbleness doesn't mean that we just pay obeisances and fold our hands and just listen to what I say. It's not blind following. Prabhupada is writing the purport. Blind following, he had a statement, blind following and absurd inquiries are condemned. That means we just don't blindly follow the Guru. We have the faith in Guru. We are obedient to Guru to follow his orders. But we try to understand what is giving us. We try to inquire and clarify our doubts. That's how we can be firmly fixed in faith and practice properly also. So that's the other aspect being described here, that inquiry is essential like that. So basically, remember, Krishna described spiritual master has already gone through that path, already realized the God. So because he has already realized the God, he already understood how to go on the path and what is the path. That is why he can guide us. So with that principle, we go before him and we inquire from spiritual master so that we can develop that Jnana Chikshu. Jnana Chikshu, sometimes we refer as Shastra Chikshu. That means seeing everything around us in terms of scriptural knowledge, in terms of proper knowledge like that. That spiritual perception. Instead of seeing material way, he gives us a spiritual vision, spiritual perception for seeing things like that. Because just by the knowledge that Guru gives us and by inquiring from him to clarify things, so we can develop the right perception as how the Guru is seeing things like that. So that's what we're trying to develop. So such deep thinking, so basically by inquiring from Guru and hearing from him, we develop the capacity for deep thinking, and that leads to deeper observations around us. So we can see in the world how Gita's principles, Bhagavad principles are outside like that. For example, somebody is very angry. Then we can see, oh, currently we don't have to say it, but we can observe. Oh, he's influenced by mode of passion and ignorance currently. That's why he's exhibiting anger. But as a spirit soul, he's a nice person. But because of the circumstance, because of the influence of the mode of passion right now and ignorance right now, he's behaving like that. When we understand this knowledge of Gita, then we can be all around whole being, proper, we can enjoy a balanced life with a positive outlook towards life. So we don't feel like, oh, I hate him. I wish I'll kill him. I wish I will destroy him. Like that, we don't feel like that. Because we can see innately every person is pure. But currently they are covered by the bad qualities as of now. Then that means everybody has a potential to remove the bad coverings and put a good coverings also. That is possible. By following the devotion service process, everybody can become pure. Everybody can become beautiful, happy, kind, compassionate. They can develop nice values. When we understand that, then we are patient. We have more patience. We have more tolerance. We're compassionate. We want to help others with whatever we learned, whatever we understood, whatever we realized in life. We can help others. We may not be the great gurus, but we can share whatever we understood from Bhagavad, what we learned. Then we can all grow together like that. So that mood of selflessness also comes with the understanding of principles and teachings from Guru by inquiring in carefully. So for example, spiritual master says this world is a place of misery, but I'm seeing all the advertisements everywhere, and every advertisement, everybody's smiling. Everybody, I see in Facebook, I see somebody's going to Italy, somebody's going to Germany, they're enjoying happily. So now, when I get the knowledge from the Guru, then I start to see, yes, that Facebook picture, that advertisement, they are smiling, correct. But how about the people under the advertisement board? The people who are ordinarily interacting with every day, are they same as happy as the person in the advertisement all the time? No, they're happy like that for few minutes, few hours, few days. After that, they're sad again and happy again, like that. When we then, because of the knowledge of the Guru, we start to pursue that reality in the world. How people are not always happy. People are sometimes happy, sometimes sad. Then we start to question things. Why is that so? Can we do anything so that people can be always happy? Is there something that can be done? Like that, we can inquire from Guru, and Guru can tell us. So that's the way we can observe the world and learn with the knowledge obtained from the Guru, like that. So now we talked about humility or submission before a Guru, and we talked about inquisitiveness, tadvidi, pranipatena, pariprashnena. Then we'll talk about sevaya. The verse also talked about service. So what is the service being talked about here? Two different aspects we can look at. One aspect is that after we heard from Guru the principles, we inquired to clarify the points to understand clearly in our life how we can apply. And then we need to apply that knowledge. Just knowing doesn't help. Because the fruit of knowing or understanding is the application or utility. Real utility is to actually utilize the knowledge, like that. Just my knowing is not enough, but knowing is also important. It starts there, but it needs to culminate in practical action, practical application in our life. That's how transformation will come. For example, for example, let us say somebody gives us a sweet. So it's not just enough to see the sweet. Wow, sweet is looking so nice. It looks white. It looks juicy. It looks smooth. That is not enough to experience the real fruit, real essence of that sweet. Real essence of the sweet comes when we taste it. That's the real experience we can get. Not just seeing, not just hearing about the sweet, how it is made so nicely after 4 hours of work is done. That's not the real fruit. The real experience is when you taste it. Similarly, the real knowledge and understanding, the real effect of it should be in practical action for us. So that is why, in fact, when we hear the instructions from a Guru and when we apply in our life, that is the way we can serve the Guru. In fact, Guru is not looking for something for himself. He is happy when we understand the knowledge and when we apply it in our life. Because he sees that we're benefiting from that process. That gives him pleasure. Because he wants, they are paradukha dukhi. They don't want, Guru doesn't want us to be unhappy. He wants us to be happy. So that's why he gives the knowledge. And when we apply it, we're actually getting mercy. This is the secret of spiritual life. Prabhupada was quoting in the purport, secret of spiritual life is in pleasing the spiritual master, is in satisfying the spiritual master. Why is it? Is the spiritual master selfish? That's why we're saying like that? No. The point is, when we're in the mood to serve the spiritual master, to please spiritual master, then we'll hear attentively and we'll follow his direction properly. And then we'll get his mercy, and then we can apply in our life also properly. Because the instruction comes along with the potency to apply also in our life. So instruction and the means to apply it are together. So even if you don't know how to do it, by the Guru's instruction, if it's a genuine Guru, we'll get the capacity. Krishna bestows, Supreme Lord bestows mercy on us, so that we can follow the instruction like that. So that's why so many devotees are able to chant so many rounds every day, holy name of the God every day. And they're following different regulation principles every day. How is it possible? Because of mercy from Srila Prabhupada as a Guru, common Guru for us, and our other Gurus for whoever has Guru also. Like that. Just because we're following their direction, then we'll get their mercy like that. So now, so the application of knowledge is very important. That is the service-mindedness or sevaya aspect. Tadvidhi pranipatena, pariprashnena, inquiring, sevaya. Like that is describing. So now, what is the real relation that we should get as a devotee, as we practice our devotion service? That's the important thing to understand. Because sometimes we devotees might practicing devotees may think devotional service is nothing but going to temple once a week. And I go to temple once a week, stand in the arti, offer something to Lord, and that is what is devotional service. Some people are there in the world who think that is the right thing. That is the only devotional service. That is what is called devotional service. And they think rest of the life I need to be good, do good. That's all. That is what is devotional service. But that is just a starting point. Going to the temple is important, and offering something to Krishna is important. Because when you offer something to Krishna, you're developing a loving relationship. By giving gifts and receiving gifts, we develop a loving relationship. So in that sense, that's the important activity to do. But we need to do more than that. What is more than that? Like Bhagavad Gita, we're learning how we are not this body. We're a spirit soul. That is first understanding we should get clearly. If you don't understand it, we can ask again. We can read again. We can clarify. Because there are devotees who understood that properly, who realized that properly also. So we can ask them to find out, what is the scientific evidence of soul? Can you tell me? I think it's just somebody is believing like that. Can you tell me? They'll tell you, oh, you know what? There's this researcher, philosopher, professor in University of Virginia called Ian Stevenson. He did so much research on reincarnation. He found 3,000 cases of people who remembered past life memories. And we proved it correctly that they're not bluffing, they're not joking. There is reality like that. You know, this BBC Discovery Channel, they released an episode where one small boy, 8 years boy or something like a small boy, he recollected his past life as a fighter jet pilot who died in the World War because of the flight got bombed. So these are all reality. This is not like somebody is not making up these things. From these things and some common sense aspects and understanding of symptoms, like when we pinch, I get pain. That's because of consciousness. From that, we understand that we are not body, we are a spirit soul. One aspect. That is not enough. Then we need to understand, is there God really existing? Or is just people have put God as a picture just to create fear in us? So is it just to make everybody look nice? Everybody behave nicely? Is that the only reason for God is there? No, God is real. We can see a whole system is running. We have to develop a small watch or a phone or a computer. So many people need to work. So somebody needs to design, somebody needs to implement, somebody needs to transport it, somebody needs to sell it, somebody needs to assemble it. So many things are there. Similarly, the whole cosmic manifestation is running by itself, like automated machine system. So who is the genius behind that? That is Supreme Lord. Whole earth is giving different kinds of flowers. You put flower seeds from in the earth, it will give flowers. If you put fruit seeds in the earth, it will give fruit plants and fruits will come finally. So different sides of flavors are coming. How is it all these things happening? How are all the planets in orbit? Who is controlling them? We have even aeroplane accidents in the air. Even we have a great air traffic control. So then what about all the planet systems? Who is watching them? Like this, we can ask questions and inquire from proper saintly personalities and read scriptures. Then we'll also understand, yes, there is God. That is number one. Second point. So we are a spirit soul. We are a God. I'm giving you some things to understand in terms of transcendental knowledge as we evolve our consciousness as a devotee, as a human being. Now, the most important realization is that not only that understanding that Krishna is the source of my enjoyment. That means whatever is promising enjoyment in the material world is actually leading to suffering. But if I serve Krishna, he will grant me the best and highest fulfillment than anything else in the world I can get. I can get the best ice cream, best sweet, best movie I can see, best drink I can drink. All these things don't mean anything. When you serve Krishna, we'll have that inner satisfaction and taste, the spiritual taste, higher taste we get. That gives the highest fulfillment for us. Then we don't even look at other cheaper things also. That's one aspect. Another aspect is that getting the realization that by engaging in these other sense gratifications, actually I'm going away from permanent happiness. This understanding also our scriptures give us, like Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. So that is the higher realization, that understanding, getting that realization and conviction that the temptations in the world are not for my benefit, permanent benefit. They're just giving temporary happiness, but they come up with loads of misery. How loads of misery? To get the little bit, few moments of happiness, we need to work so hard. And then even after get the happiness, we cannot enjoy it for unlimitedly. For example, I can keep on eating. I cannot keep on eating ice cream after ice cream. I can maximum eat one bucket of ice cream potentially. Not more than that. After that, I'm done. My senses are limited. They don't have full unlimited capacity to enjoy. Right? So that's why getting to that understanding that loving Krishna will give the ultimate satisfaction like that. Now, how do we cultivate that, get to that part is by regularly practicing devotional service. By serving Krishna with whatever love and affection we can get, we can actually receive that greater, experience that greater happiness in serving Krishna. There are many devotees who are practicing their life and they're experiencing that greater happiness in their life. So it's not like theory. So it's described the taste of a pudding is in actually tasting it, not somebody describing it, like the way we were talking about now also, right? So similarly, spiritual life, when we practice spiritual life, nobody needs to tell us. Like how, let us say I'm very hungry. You give me some food to eat. Then you don't need to give me a certificate. Now your hunger has gone, like that. I will know, as I keep on eating food that you give me, I will know my stomach is full. I'm feeling not weak anymore. I'm feeling nourished. I'm feeling stamina. So all the symptoms I can only make out myself. Similarly, spiritual life is also like that. We can make out ourselves by experiencing it, practicing it regularly like that. That means the simple tenets of bhakti yoga we can practice, like chanting the holy name every day, fixed number of rounds, whatever rounds work for it. Reading scripture a little bit. Always start with a little bit in life, then we can grow, whether it's materially or spiritually. If you do consistently a little bit every day, that habit makes wonders in life. There are people who become millionaires just because every day they have a routine to do. Every day they have a morning routine. They get up early in the morning. They do some meditation. They do some exercise. They do some reading because they also want to learn, to grow regularly, even though they have millions already. Similarly, spiritualists also follow a regimen that is prescribed by Shastra and given by gurus. That way we can also experience ourselves. Oh, I'm feeling satisfied. I'm feeling so happy. I'm not worried about this, that all the time. I'm happy internally. That doesn't mean we'll become complacent, will not grow in career. That's not what I'm saying. We still do practically what we need in the life. We need to find job. We need to do the job best way so that way boss is happy with us. We take care of the family so that they also grow nicely and they also take up Krishna consciousness. All that is required for us. But still, we do what is required as the ultimate goal of life. We don't miss the main point in life like that. That is the other point being shared here. So now, essentially, there's another way to describe these three things we discussed. Humility or submission, inquisitiveness or asking questions to clarify, and then service. We talked about three aspects, right? There's another way Chaitanya Charan Prabhu describes how we can look at it. He describes by humility, it enables, if I'm humble, I can approach a guru. And then it helps the guru to show me the way. For example, if I don't want to learn, nobody can teach me. If I want to know how to go back to Krishna, how to know the way for Krishna, and I'm humble enough to learn from Guru can share with me. That's the first aspect of humility. Now, second aspect are pranipatena, paripashyana, that means inquisitiveness, asking questions. So by asking questions and clarifying, that helps us to see the way clearly ourselves. That means Guru knows the way how to go back to Krishna, how to grow in spiritual life. Guru knows already. That means he's able to see the path. He knows the path and he also experienced the ultimate goal also. Now, Guru can tell all those things, but we need to be able to see the path ourselves. How do you see it? When he asks clarifying questions to understand and then apply in our life, then we can also see the path for Krishna like that. That's the beauty of Krishna consciousness. Yeah, that is what is enabled by inquisitiveness, understanding. The third thing is sevaya, service-mindedness. When we have the mood of service, that enables us to actually go on the path like that. In fact, we might read so many scriptures, we might have so much knowledge, that knowledge becomes realization or wisdom only when we do practical service. So that is the way to grow in spiritual life. If we need to find whatever, doesn't matter, that can be small service, giving small donation to temple every month, or going to temple and do some seva a little bit, or helping one devotee do some seva, whatever way we can do. That is the important component. Not humility, inquisitiveness, and service attitude we talked about. That helps us to go on the path of a guru like that. So now, Srila Prabhupada made a couple of statements in the purport I want to clarify before I pause for any questions or comments you might have. Srila Prabhupada says, purport he starts with, the path of spiritual realization is undoubtedly difficult. Wow. So, commonly we hear, actually Bhakti Yoga is a simple path, is easy path. So, is that contradiction? Yes and no. We'll discuss how it is so. There are so many spiritual paths we know. Somebody may start with Karma Yoga, somebody may start with Jnana Yoga, somebody may start with Bhakti Yoga or Ashtanga Yoga, like that, somebody can start. Among all these different spiritual paths, Bhakti Yoga is the best path. Are easiest among them, at least. Easiest among those paths. Why is that so? Because there are many nice ways we can nice things we can explain from scriptures, Srimad Bhagavatam, like that. One thing is, to start Bhakti Yoga, there's no pre-qualification required. There's no screening. Oh, you are not qualified. Oh, you are qualified. No pre-qualification required. We can start Bhakti Yoga from any point wherever you are. Beautiful point. And then Bhakti Yoga itself will give us the qualification to get wherever we need to be. Like that. That's the beauty of Bhakti Yoga path. Number two, Bhakti Yoga path doesn't need to do severe austerities like Ashtanga Yogi might do. In the heat of the summer, they'll sit next to the fire. In the cold winter, they'll take a cold bath in the Ganges river near Haridwar, for example. So all those austerities we don't have to do for Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti Yoga, there are other simple austerities we need to do in Bhakti Yoga, but not that level austerities we don't need to do. That is one benefit. Another aspect is, in other paths, commonly the practitioner is trying to do according to their capacity. I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to achieve it. That is the mood that they are going in. Whereas in Bhakti Yoga, from the day one we are instructed, don't worry, Baba, you have Krishna with you to help you. So Krishna will support you. Krishna is looking at you. You make one step, Krishna will make 10 steps towards you. Krishna will support you. As long as you develop the right desire, Krishna will help you like that. So like that, Bhakti Yoga has a support system of Krishna directly. That is the best, another important thing. Now, Bhakti Yoga has also the philosophy from Bhagavad Gita that we are learning. So we can conduct our life in such a way that we can be happy in this life, and at the end of this life, we can go to a happier place also. It's described, spiritual world is a place where permanent happiness for all of us like that. Remember, we as a spirit soul, Bhagavad Gita 2nd chapter describes, we are Satchidananda. That means we are eternal, we are full of knowledge and full of bliss. Because we are eternal, that's why we try to make sure we don't die. We save ourselves from any dangers like that. Even birds have that instinct. Animals have the instinct like that. They run away when we are going near them. Because they're scared we may do something harm to them. Then, because of the knowledge we have, innate characteristics of knowledge we have as soul, That's why we're curious about knowing this, knowing that, like that. And then Ananda, because of the innate characteristics of Ananda, or happiness or bliss, we're looking for a happiness always. We're trying to increase our happiness, we're trying to reduce our suffering. Most of the people are doing that. But they don't know what is the right way to do that, to increase happiness and reduce suffering. The right way is to practice bhakti yoga. So that way we can increase our happiness now and reduce suffering also. That doesn't mean we'll not have problems in our life. When we practice bhakti yoga also, we'll get problems. We'll get relationship problems, we'll get, for example, money problems, diseases might come, health problems will come. But when we are sincerely striving to serve Krishna in bhakti, and what happens is Krishna gives that higher taste and that sustaining capacity in us, that we can overcome those tribulations, turbulence, will not be shaken away totally. We can still sustain and make our attempts to make it right, like that. So, in other words, Krishna will help us through this difficulty. Even though difficulties might come, but our consciousness will be saved, and we don't have to we don't have to be overwhelmed with the burden of difficulties, like that. That is one. Of course, many times in life it seems that there's no solution for what are we going through. But still, if you hang on to Krishna, you will see that is happening for your benefit also somehow or other. We may not be able to realize it immediately, but it is for our benefit only, like that. So now, if you want serious progress on spiritual master, on the spiritual path, we need to approach the spiritual master and be humble, inquire from him, and serve him. That is the point being made here. So those are the points. I want to pause there to see if anybody has any other comments or questions, so that we can discuss more if you need it. Yeah, please feel free to share anything that you learned or anything you want to clarify. So this is an opportunity for me to clarify also. Something was not clear in the way I expressed it. Please feel free to ask. Anybody would like to share what they got from today's session? 1 or 2 points that you got from session. Only if you feel comfortable sharing, you can share. If not, that's also okay. Yeah, but please recollect what you heard today, so that at least 1 point you remember and try to apply in your life. That will help us as Bhakti Yogis practitioners. Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Babuji. This is Ankit here. How are you?
Hare Krishna, Ankit Prabhuji. Nice to hear you. I'm doing well. How are you?
Good, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Thank you for amazing lecture. I'm sorry I missed half of it, but yeah, whatever I heard, the good point I liked it is that like there is not any kind of selection based that you can do this whether you are eligible or not. Anybody can do bhakti yoga, and we can do it on our own, based on our capacity. So that's the touching point, to be honest. I know we have already talked about this thing before, but every time I heard this thing, every time I listen from any of the Prabhujis, it's always good that we are on the right path.
Yeah. Absolutely, bro. That's helpful, yeah, because the scriptures reinforce the faith in all of us, like that. Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
That's helpful important for us, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Yeah.
Thank you.
Perfect, yeah. Good. In fact, it's described patient need to have their faith in the doctor also, because otherwise the right medicine doctor might give, if he doesn't have faith in doctor, the medicine doesn't work, it seems. Like that for us also, you need to faith in the process, and the guru also is giving the process also. Yeah.
True.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yeah, sure. Any other comments or questions from anyone? Okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Also in the Srimad Bhagavatam and in the Bhagavad Gita, I mean, there was so much emphasis, so much stress on, on the spiritual master. The spiritual master, he's, the only one who can really deliver us. You have the spiritual master, you have the mother. These are the people that can, really give us knowledge. So we must have that faith in our guru that, he's the one that can save us, through this hellish condition in this material world that we all, experiences.
Absolutely. Nice point, Madhu. Thank you for sharing. Yeah. Any other comments or questions? Okay, if not, we can end here. We'll continue next week. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. We'll offer our obeisance to all the devotees of the Lord. Vancha kalpatarubhyasya kupasandubhyevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnebhyo namo namaha. Thank you so much, devotees. Hare Krishna.